Hi folks, hope you're doing well. So yeah, okay. What I was feeling God was saying after doing the last video is that, yeah, I have freedom in many areas now, but I don't have freedom with regards to this area, with regards to church. As in, yeah, I don't have peace with regards to this. Okay. To be free of it now, it's quite simple. I mean, God has made it a situation, well, allowed it to be a situation where there are free churches in the area that I cannot attend. Because, yeah. So that's cool. So therefore, with that being the case, obviously, I can just forget about church now. Yeah. Well, as I said in the last one, I do think, I can't see really how, right now, God is going to turn things around in these churches, not with the way the churches are. If I'm right, that is. If I'm right. I don't see it being possible. So therefore, I see them being left behind. And that's okay, because they can be left behind and they can be judged according to their belief, which is, you know, through the teachings of Yeshua and the letters to the churches. Good. You'll be judged purely according to those. Yeah, that's cool. That's what they want, then okay, they can do it. But they're going to go to hell. All of them, I think. Well, the majority of them are going to go to hell because of the fact that if they're going by that stuff, if they're going by the words of Yeshua and the letters to the churches, then they're going by the stuff that says faith without works is dead. They're going by the stuff that talks about the fact that He is the vine, you are the branches. If you do not bear fruit, you are cut off and thrown into the fire. That's what they're going by. If they're going by that, then if they're still going to be running these safe space churches, with a desire to ban anyone who stands against that, how are they ever going to be in a position where they can bear fruit? They're not, are they? It's a non-fruit bearing because it's safe space. You can, as I said, you can only really bear fruit once you have all that baggage, all that crap that you had in the world before you gave your life to God. All that has to be dealt with. Because the more of that you have in there, the more the devil can pull you around and bring you back into sin and into shame and guilt and all that sort of stuff and get you away from God. So that stuff all has to be dealt with. Well, again, stuff like dealing with offence, knowing how to deal with someone saying something where you could take offence, dealing with forgiveness. Because if you don't forgive people, what happens to you? Biblically, what happens to you when you don't forgive people? And if there are churches that are teaching people you don't necessarily have to forgive people if you've taken offence to something they've done. That's the problem is that for me, the reason why I've been so angry about the church as it is because it is highly demonic. Highly demonic. As it is. That way of doing, the way I've just described, that way of doing things is demonic. It's not of God in any way, shape or form. As I said in the previous one, this whole idea of safe space, had Yeshua been doing that, we wouldn't have salvation. Our sins would still be ours to try and pay for, which we couldn't. We'd all be going to hell. So the whole idea of safe space is one designed by the devil that would lead everyone to go to hell. Right? Of course. But the reality is, these churches and these churches in this area are not untypical of other churches. They really are not. Well, because, come on, Jeff Oakes is American. He's come over from America. The bloke who's just taken over the Community Church of God has come from America. Right, so American church is going to be the same. Manuel was trained in Germany. So therefore European church is going to be about the same, aren't they, really? I've got no idea about the Oasis Church. Where those people were trained and where they're from, don't know. But if that's the case, if you've got Americans as a pastor, leader, teacher, blah, 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 and you've had a German or a Spanish person who learned from Spain and Germany, then basically Europe is the same. America is the same. Yeah? So that's a massive area of churches that are going to be thinking the same sort of way. But then I know that I will have nothing to do with those places at all. Now, I know that. I've learnt that now. That I have no place in these churches at all. And that what I have to bring, they will never receive. I know that. They won't receive it because, what God has been speaking to me about is the issue of forgiveness. Is the issue of, having accountability. Loving people enough to say what needs to be said. Yeah. Well, no, as I said, with regards to Peter, the biblical character. Peter. He was that man who would jump up and 1 minute he was of God, next minute he was of the devil. But he had to be sorted out. For him to be the rock, he had to be sorted out. So he had to be broken. Right? Of course, he was going to be the one to stand up and say, I will go wherever you go. And the Lord said, you will deny me 3 times. And so enough fear was put into Peter, or allowed to be put into Peter, for him to deny the Lord 3 times. Why? Because it was important that Peter was broken. Why? Because he had to be moulded to be that rock. He couldn't be that young, immature, Peter who jumped up all the time. Oh, I do. And then, be of God, then be of the devil, and then be of God, then be of the devil, and then be of God, then be of the devil. He had to mature. But to mature, he had to be broken. In church right now, I don't think there's that many people in church who are willing to be broken. But to get to a point where God can use you, you've got to be broken. To what degree? I don't know. I have no idea. No. I mean, people might think I'm out of order where I've said about Mrs. B that if she is supposed to be my wife and in the future she realises that, her journey won't even have started now. She's going to have to be broken. Big time. She's going to have to go through a ton of stuff. Because God's going to have to get her right. Because I'm not going to accept her unless she is. Simple. That's because of the fact I'm not going to be unequally yoked. I know that God has done so much in me to get me to where I am. He's going to have to do the same with whoever is my wife. People think I'm out of order for saying it. No. Because if that happens to her, that'd be the best thing that could ever happen to her. I know that because I've been through it, and I know that although it was incredibly tough, it was the best thing that's ever happened. Oh, yeah. Was it incredibly tough? Yeah, I'm still at that point where it's still painful thinking about the dogs being taken away and thinking about the fact that they've been taken away from me and from each other. That is still incredibly painful. But I know that being broken in that way was worth it. And I know that Peter would look back on his being broken and he knew that that was well worth it. Anyone who has been broken looks back. At the time you're being broken, you might not see it's worth it, but when you look back, you know it is. Anyway, there you go. So now, yeah, let it go. Let church go now. Right, you take care. God bless. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.